Hi everyone, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today is December 24th, Christmas Eve. Woohoo! We made it to Christmas Eve. Look at that. If you're new to my channel, head down there, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, get notifications when I'm live, and don't forget to like. That's the thumbs up thing below this video. And share my videos and comment on my replays. So it's Christmas Eve. Today is a day in my quilting room, and we are just hanging out in my quilting room. We're just going to chit chat and hang out, and you guys can see what I'm doing, and I can show you what I'm doing, and see what I'm doing, and me show you what I'm doing. I'll have to show you what I'm doing here. I'm playing with what everybody does not like. There are so many people out there that have told me, how do you do that, Tiffany? What is the point? Well, there is a point. I like it. Some of you may not, and you might find the finished results awesome, but I, on the other hand, love it. I like playing with it, and even though it makes me hurt and irritates me sometimes, I like doing this. So let's see who's here, and then I'll show you what I'm doing. We have Kathy here. We got Patty, Kim, Linda. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Welcome, guys. We got 9 of you. We got Brenda. So, I am working on, ready for it? Ready for it? Little itty bitty dinky half square triangles. Hold on. Let me hold another one up. Little itty bitty half square triangles. Let me hold another one up. Little itty bitty. Wait. And then also with my half square triangles, I'm cutting out little itty bitty 1-inch squares. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy, right? And then I have more of my little 1-inch half square triangles. Look at these cute little things. They're so small that the seams have to be pressed open because, or else they just don't work. So my little itty bitty pieces. And I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to like make little itty bitty flying geese units too. Half square triangles, solid blocks, and flying geese blocks. That is my goal today, is to make as many as I possibly can, which probably won't be a lot because there's a lot of effort that goes into this, and this will probably be a long time project, but I'm having fun with it. So that's a big thing, having fun. Let's go back up. We have Judy here. Hello. We got Sheila here. Welcome. Ellen is here. Joe. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So I'm going to pass the tablet over to Scott now. All 14 of you can talk through him. He'll just read the comments.
Hello.
And I am going to tip the camera down, and you can just stare at me while I talk, cutting these little itty bitty dinky pieces. Hi, Regine. Hi, Beverly. So we're just going to hang out right here so you can see my face. Oops, let's tip that up just a little bit. You can see my face and I can talk to you, but you can also see me cutting these tiny little dinky pieces. I don't have a tiny little dinky ruler, so I'm just using this one and lining everything up because this is the smallest I have.
It's off. Are you off over here? Oh, you're still on over here. Okay.
So I'm just trimming them. I used one. At first I was using 1 and 3, or 1 and 4/8. 1, 2, 3/8. 1 and 3/8 pieces, but it was kind of really, it seemed like it was shy, yet it doesn't seem like it because now I'm using 1.5-inch squares sewing on both sides to get my little dinky half square triangles. And since I'm wearing camo, it kind of hides these.
Yes, it does actually. It blends in with your shirt.
You can see down here that what I'm doing. So right now I'm just taking them down to 1 inch because, well, that's a lot of work, but yeah. And I'm also using, when I press these, I'm using my tiny little dink ball iron. It's just, it's a, what is that thing actually called? It's supposed to be There's a word for it. A soldering iron. It's like a soldering iron with an actual iron tip. This thing right here. Because it's shaped like an iron. Oh, there you can see in the background. So I'm just using this thing on its little stand, but I can't put it anywhere else because the cord isn't long enough, and it's a 3-prong cord, so it can't plug into any of my iron extension cords.
I can get you one from the garage if you want.
So for now, it just sits where it's sitting, which is okay. It doesn't bother me because I'm making and then cutting. I'm making a few and then cutting a few, making a few and then cutting a few. But now that I've made quite a few...
Merry Christmas, Patty. Patty said Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Now that I've made a few half square triangles, I'm going to move on to flying geese units, little flying geese units. And I'm just going to make them however I make them. I have no idea just yet because they're so small. I would like to be able to make the 4 at a time, but I don't. For 1 inch, I actually don't know the number I would be looking for on just off the top of my head, and I don't feel like looking it up online. So I'm just going to probably make them my way, and it'll be the size of 2 of these put together, so it'll be 1.5 inches by 1 inch, I think, will be my cut to start them. And all this is scrap fabric that I'm using from my COVID quilt. These are all the leftover strings right here. All these strings. They're small. Some are really skinny. Some are really big. They're my strings left over from my COVID quilt. And the smallest ones were kind of like 3/4 of an inch. So I chucked those. But the 1 inch ones I saved. And then I have some longer strips. And then I also have
Patty says that's really tiny.
Yes, it is. I also have the grunge that was with it. So I have a brown and I have an orange, and I think the flying geese units might come from those. I'm not sure just yet. I might just make the flying geese units out of these and use these brown and orange as my background colors throughout the whole entire thing, because I think those are 2-inch strips.
Swan says hi to you from Idaho.
Hello, welcome everybody who's joining. We're hanging out a day in my quilting room. Actually, it's not the full day, but this is what I'm doing in my quilting room today. On Christmas Eve, I am playing with little tiny pieces. Why? Because I'm crazy. And I will probably take a while to get this done. It's going to be bigger than normal. I don't really have a plan for what I'm making. I just know that I'm using these little pieces because I'm obsessed with tiny quilts. I don't know why. I just am. And this one might just end up being something I would enter into the local quilt show, you know, or any quilt show, because it's small, it's compact, it's going to be a wall hanging anyway, and I think it would be perfect for a quilt show because they have the mini quilts in the quilt show every year that I go to it. So
wouldn't a mini quilt just be a wall hanging like these?
Yeah, it's just going to be like that.
Okay.
I'm going to tip this up just a little bit more. I have you guys on the front facing camera today, so that way you can see my little tiny itty bitty pieces.
Vicky says hello and Merry Christmas.
Hello, Merry Christmas to everybody, which I'll probably say tomorrow because I might take a minute and come on tomorrow too.
Oh, yeah.
Since I'm coming on every single day.
What we're doing is cooking some enchiladas other than that.
So you guys will probably get to see me tomorrow. That way all of you who have just yourselves this Christmas and no family or anything coming by, you guys will have me and Scott to hang out with.
Because we're not doing nothing.
I'm just going to be making food and hanging out. So I'll be able to just do a little bit of sewing or something tomorrow. Oop, come on, stay. These are so small that it makes it just a little bit more complicated to line these little guys up because they're really tiny. So what's everybody up to today? Anybody sewing?
Well, Vicky hasn't been to bed yet, so she's like you.
Crazy, yeah. Well, I slept about 3 hours last night. Not all at once. It was broken up because of the need to be a bazillion times. So annoying. Having MS sucks. Let me tell you, my MS bladder is not a fun thing to have because during the day it's weird. I could hold it just fine during the day, but at night I can't hold it at all. I have to run to the bathroom. It's
Sue-Ann
crazy.
is playing with the grandkiddos.
Ooh, fun.
Slowing down, Joe's making pies and knitting.
Making pies. What kind of pies, Joe, are you making?
Hi, Rowena. Rowena can't stay long. She's getting ready for a visit from the granddaughter and
Ooh.
my brother's funeral. Oh, that's
Aw.
sad. Sorry. He
Today?
passed away yesterday after finding out a week and a half ago that he had stage 4 cancer. That's
Aw,
sad.
That's a fast-growing cancer. Prayers for you and your family.
I just found out a week and a half ago, yeah. It was a quick
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Kim's doing dishes and getting ready to make some cranberry orange bread. Sounds good.
Cranberry orange bread.
Sue-Ann says they're going to the movies today.
Ooh,
Social distancing will be interesting. Yes, it will be.
the movies. Going to the movies. What are you going to see at the movies?
Yes, what movie are you going to see, Sue-Ann? Vicky says she baked all night bread, pumpkin bars, apple bars, blueberry bars, and Reese's bars. Well, now you need to mail some
Who made
to us,
all that?
Vicky. Vicky.
Wow, that's a lot of bars.
Yeah.
That sounds yum. All different flavors. That's awesome.
Joanne's making the cherry and pumpkin pies. You asked her what kind of pies.
Oh,
Kathleen says Merry Christmas to all of us. Merry Christmas,
Merry
Kathleen.
Christmas. Welcome everybody that's joining too. I'm
God bless and keep you warm, safe, and filled with peace and only God. Only God can give.
I'm able to wear short
Peace
sleeve
that God
because
can
we
give.
have the heater on to keep me. Yesterday's wind froze outside. Well, for us, freezing again. I always say freezing. Okay, just know that freezing for me is above 40 is considered freezing. It was 45 degrees. It's like 47 by now because the sun is kind of trying to peek out from the clouds. But yesterday's wind is now today's wind. It's not as heavy. Yesterday was like 40-mile-an-hour winds. Today, I don't know, probably 14, 15-mile-an-hour winds. It's not very bad. And it is freezing. And
Beverly is making homemade strawberry banana pudding and pecan pies.
strawberry banana pudding. Now that sounds delicious.
Regine is going in a short time to rip out the last row of a quilt put on upside down.
Oops. Hey, I've been there. I've ripped out the middle of quilts before because of a block being wrong, and it kind of
Ellen is
sucks.
sewing on some half squares.
Oops. Sucky part about these little tiny things is the ruler moves a lot more than a normal.
Patty is at
trim.
work. All her coworkers took the day off. She's
And you went to work alone?
out of here shortly to go deliver food and presents to a family in need.
Aw, that's sweet.
Nice, Patty. June says hi. Hi, June. Merry
Hello.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Teresa says
everybody.
Merry Christmas. Teresa.
Hello, Teresa.
Merry Christmas to you. Kathleen says, how about I'm making the Christmas dinner and forgot the main ingredient?
Oh, that's funny.
And Vicky says she forgot to get vanilla pudding for orange dreamsicle dessert. Yeah, but you made all that other
Orange
stuff, Vicky. I don't think you
dreamsicle?
need to worry. She's the one that made all the bars, remember?
Yeah. Vicky likes to bake. I've learned that.
Rowena says it's 20 degrees there and windy, so I don't think we need to complain anymore.
Yeah. Well, for me,
Sue-Ann
it's
says
cold.
it's cold here and snowy.
A lot of snow or just like a dusting?
Kathy has to go finish up her last minute thing. She says, have Merry Christmas and be safe. Merry Christmas to you.
We'll see ya. Merry Christmas to those that are coming in and those that are leaving.
Vicky says it was 8 degrees there at 8 in the morning. Now it's 9 degrees.
So here are all my little trimmed. They're so tiny.
Mary says Merry
It's
Christmas.
hard to even hold these little fellers up because
Merry Christmas, Mary.
Plus they're getting lost in my camouflage shirt today. So here is a bunch more little tiny half square triangles. Probably like 15 more. Something like that. And this is going to go in my pile, and now my half square triangle pile looks to be the same size as my regular square blocks. So for those that are joining, I'm making tiny half square triangles and then super tiny, it's hard to tell, little itty bitty 1-inch squares to go with it. And now I'm going to move on to making flying geese units. And actually, I might just use this for the
Mary says her
flying
friends
geese
canceled
units.
so they can do the social distancing thing. So it'll be me and the kids tonight and tomorrow. It'll actually be nice. She wrapped the last presents.
That's fun.
Hello, Teresa. Teresa says hello to us both.
Hello. Welcome, everybody.
June is making salad mashed potatoes. That sounds good. Sue-Ann says Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas, Sue-Ann. Heather says hey, hey. Hi, Heather.
Hello. Today. So I need 1.5 by 1 inch. Okay, so this would be the
Sue-Ann
1.5
said it was
inch
just
way.
a dusting of snow and it's pretty.
Oh, these are going to be so small. I don't think I've ever made such small flying geese units, ever. I've made the small half square triangles and cut the small squares before, but I've never made tiny, tiny 1.5 inch by 1 inch flying
June
geese.
says it's 4 there with the wind chill of -12 below.
Oh my goodness, that's freezing. All right, so now 1 inch in increments.
Heather says, LOL, Tiff. That's what I was doing last night, trimming HSTs.
All right, now for, oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm going to turn this into a flying geese unit. We're going to see right now. 1.5.
Teresa's dog Willa is doing great.
Oh, awesome.
That's good to hear.
All right, we're going to try 2 of these real
Mary
quick.
asked if you made enchiladas last year, burritos. It was the enchiladas.
Enchiladas, yes.
And they're amazing. She does them every year at Christmas.
Yep. Enchiladas is my Christmas thing. I mean, I've done other things for Christmas, but okay, we're going to try this. And I'm going to lay one right here, and I'm going to sew very carefully. You can kind of see the machine over here. Here, we'll tip the camera just a little bit more that way. The light is blinding from out here.
At 12, Vicky's going to stuff a 26-pound bird and cook it in the oven all night until 1. Goodness, you've had fun with that, Vicky. You're making me
All
hungry.
right, does
here.
that
Goodness
block some of
gracious.
the excess lighting? Okay, good. So I'm going to take this tiny little itty bitty piece and I'm going to sew on it because this is 1.5 inch by 1 inch and this is 1 inch square. I'm going to take and sew from corner to corner.
Mary's going to review your enchilada video because it sounds good for New Year's.
Yeah, there's the video's there somewhere.
And it is very good. They are amazing.
I have a very, very, very tiny stitch length. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to my little, I don't have a long enough cord, so I'm just going to use my little pressing thing real quick. I'm going to press
Should we show
this
it to them
back.
again? We got
Here's my
30
little
people
pressing
on.
thing.
Last time we showed there was only like 15.
So I'm using this little iron, this tiny little iron to press, and it has to be over here because it has a 3-prong cord. And yeah, because it has a 3-prong cord, it makes it really, really hard. So I'm going to trim away the 1/4 inch back here, or at least attempt it.
Well, Vicky, you're the big cook and baker here. You need to try those. Vicky said she never had those. I believe she talked about your enchiladas.
All right, and now I'm going to put the other side on.
You need to give them a
Right
shot. They're
here,
very good.
and I'm going to sew from this top to this bottom. I'm hoping it stays 1 inch because it looks like it's kind of getting wonky. If anything, I'll try a different size and then trim it down.
Oh, goodness.
This
Mary
is
says she has one of those little irons that you were showing. She paid $300 for it.
what?
Goodness
Little
gracious,
tiny
Vicky.
thing?
Goodness.
All it is a soldering iron. Made for the lips for craft. Alright, so I'm going to press this little guy back. Ooh, don't burn my finger, Chicky.
Yeah, that's the only problem with it.
It's so small, you take the chances of burning your fingers.
That's what I would
Oh
do.
my gosh, this is the smallest flying geese I've ever made. Let's take away that little 1/4 inch seam.
Kathleen says they're having homemade tomato soup and grilled cheese. We do that every now and then. It's good.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like it's
With a few
completely
munchies. We love this time of year. Everyone's favorite. Gonna chill and movie.
Okay, so it shrunk a little bit. So I'm going to cut like 1 and let's see, 1¼ inch and then just trim down because this is, it didn't line up like it's supposed to. You can see how tiny this is. Like, look at my finger. This is tiny. Let's try it again real quick. If I'm not, I don't want to waste anything. So instead of cutting, I'm going to cut 1 1/8. 1 1/8 real quick by 1 1/2. Let's see.
It's so little just because it didn't line up. You still use it? It'll just look like it was meant to be that way.
No, it's, I need to make it to where they fit within the next set of blocks. All right, so I'm
I
going
see
to
what you're saying.
keep these a little bit bigger just for sakes of this. So it's 1 1/8. We're going to try that real quick and see how 1 1/8 does.
Slowing down, Joe says, so tiny.
All right, we're going to try this differently, and then we'll trim it if we need to. Okay, so here we go again. So from one corner to the other. So tiny, yes.
Kim says my oldest and her family will be here tonight. We're having chili, homemade garlic bread, chips and cheese dip, and pumpkin pie. That sounds good.
Yum.
Vicky says that kind of sewing is not for me. LOL.
You know, if you have arthritis, I mean, I have arthritis. This is kind of hard for me, but I'm so obsessed with these little things that I don't mind dealing with the pain. Plus, it's a little bit harder today because I'm wearing my brace because I hurt.
Merry Christmas, Sue Ann. She has to go for now.
Okay, so this is shrinking both directions. Let's try it again, though. We're just going to do it anyway.
Teresa says, Tiffany, try doing a scant 1/4 inch.
I am on most of it, yes. Since this is a flying geese, it's a little bit different. You have to go from the corner to the corner, so.
Hi, Joyce. Joyce says hi to both of us, honey.
Hello, welcome. Oh, ow, damn it. All right, so we're going to change my 1 1/2 to a different size now, I think. Instead of it being 1 1/2 by whatever, I'm going to do a different size. Let's see. Let's see what this trims to. Yeah, it's not fully 1 1/2. Well, here's another one. It's so tiny. Look at that thing.
They're dinky.
All right, we're going to try it a different way now. We're going to go, we're going to use 1 1/2.
Do you want me to man the mini iron for you?
Oh, that makes so much waste, though. No, that's wrong. Yeah, let's just do this real quick. We're gonna try something just to see if it works. We'll cut. How big is this? That's exactly 1 inch. Maybe something that's a little bit bigger than 1 inch, just to see. Test myself a theory here. That's 1 inch also. Bleh. I'll probably have to make it a different way. I'm not really wasting any fabric here doing this either, because it's so tiny.
Kim says their skies are a beautiful clear blue, and it's a whole 22 degrees and windy.
I'm just going to use this one.
Judy's doing a 15-pound turkey, stuffed Dutch potatoes, veggies, all for one person. Should have a few dozen meals and lots of soup. Haven't decided on a dessert yet. That's my way of cooking, Judy. Lots of leftovers. I like leftovers. I'm a huge leftover guy.
Yeah, Scott eats lots of leftovers.
Well, all of our neighbors know that too, so they give me their leftovers. So yes, I get leftovers by everyone.
All right. I don't think I'm liking this way of geese units. I think I'm going to try a different way. I think I'm going to try a different way. We're going to try the 4. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. We'll see. I'm thinking right now if it's got to be 2 inch or something.
Teresa says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope everyone is feeling jolly today. He's telling Judy to make an orange dreamsicle dessert.
This isn't going to work. I'm just experimenting, okay? I'm experimenting with my tiny stuff here. That's not
It's
gonna
okay,
work
Tiff.
either.
We're here to learn and have fun. So you make whatever you want, my love. Do you want me to man that little thing?
No.
No?
I'm good.
That little thing's so cute. I could man it. Do some little tiny
All right.
ironing with a little tiny iron.
Let's see how this works out. 1.
Heather says, does slightly less annoyed count as jolly?
1.5 by 1. This is totally not perfect, but this is just a little bit better.
Kim says, I grew up on leftovers. My mom came up with so many ways to do them, and luckily I learned too. Most of the time my family didn't know it was leftovers. Oh, Linda enjoyed Teresa's video yesterday.
Oh, I haven't been on YouTube looking at videos, so I didn't know you were on
Well, our
yesterday. I'll
internet
have
was
to go.
horrid yesterday.
Yeah, we had really bad internet, so Scott and I ended up watching DVDs most of the day. Here's my other tiny one. So this one came out the right size, but you can see it's a little on the wonky side at the bottom. So I think I'm going to try a 4 at a time, and I'm going to just mess around here with what I think would be the measurement. So I'm going to grab a bigger piece here. See what size this is. It's 3 inches. Let's try the 3 inch by 3 inch. See what happens. If anything, I don't even think I have another 3 inch piece. We're going to try 3 inch. And then 1.5 inch.
Kim says she's feeling quite jolly. It will get better about 5 with family and grandsons. That's good, Kim.
1.5 by 1.5. We're going to try something here. We're going to cut 2 1.5 by 1.5 inches. 1 and 2. Okay, I'm really just guessing here, so don't take me on it because you guys are learning with me. All right, so we need 1 3-inch square, 2 1.5 inch squares, and we're going to go across here. Nope, that's too shy. Let's take this down to 2.5 inch square. We're going to make this work.
Vicky's on this orange dreamsicle kit. She says the orange dreamsicle is on YouTube from Whippoorwill Holler.
All right, let's try 2.5 inches.
It does sound good,
1.5
Vicky.
inch.
It does sound good.
1.5 inch right here. Let's see how this works. So I did a 2.5 inch block with 2 1.5 inch squares, and now I'm going to sew. Oh, I need to draw a line. Duh. I need to draw a line real quick and then sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of the line. We're going to do this 4 at a time flying geese thing, which you guys have probably never even seen, some of you.
Oh, Kim liked Teresa's video yesterday too. I'm going to have to check it out.
And now I need to sew a 1/4 inch on each side of the line, and I'm doing scant 1/4 inches here, so I'm sewing very tiny 1/4 inch seams.
Judy's going to check out the creamsicle video. You guys going to need to make us some creamsicle stuff. Y'all make me hungry.
All right. Still need to cut more, but we're going to cut this now. So we're seeing if this works, okay? Because if it does, you guys can learn how to 4 at a time flying geese with really tiny ones. A 2.5 inch square is what I use, and then 2 1.5 inch squares, 1 on each side. Draw a line across both, sewed on each side of that line with a scant 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to press these back, and you're going to see that I have hearts. It's going to be funky looking. I'll show you in a second. It's going to be like, what did you just do, Tiffy? And I'll be like, well, I think I completed the formula for tiny, tiny, tiny flying geese 4 at a time.
Well, that's good, Tiff. I knew you could do it.
We'll see right now.
Vicky says it's so good. Talking about those creamsicle.
All right, so there's
She's
one.
making us hungry.
I hope you guys can even see down here. So here's one of the funky little heart looking things.
Yeah,
You
they
can
can
see
see
that?
down there. I don't know how clear it is,
Alright,
but yes.
I'm gonna
it
press
can
this
see.
other one back now. I might need to go up one number for this because we're gonna see. how well this
Teresa
turns
says they
out.
have no family close by and she misses them. Today they're going to go out and see an old friend and bring him some jelly. Sounds good. He is recovering from cancer and doing well.
All right, so I'm gonna cut 2 more 1.5 inch squares.
That's nice, Teresa.
Yes, wonderful. And 1.5 inch square. We're gonna see if this works.
Kim says, when I get my big machine back from the spa, I'm going to try those little squares. I may need some wine or lots of prayer.
So here is what it would look like when you're making 4 at a time flying geese. So I used 1 2.5 inch block and so far 2 1.5 inch blocks. Now here's my other 2 1.5 inch blocks and I'm going to lay them. I could teach this in a bigger version as well, but this is the tiny version. I'm going to lay it right here. I'm going to draw a line and then I'm going to sew on each side of that line and it's going to hang over. That's what it's supposed to do. So here's my other one. It's going to hang over. You can see it has a little lip of hanging over at the bottom. Just going to draw a line down the center now and sew on both sides of that line as well. Whoever
Did you hear
created
what I said
this,
about Kim's comment there? That was funny.
yes.
Gonna need the wine or lots of prayer.
All right, here we go. So now I'm going to take both of these little tiny things over. I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch, scant 1/4 inch on both sides of that line because I'm using such tiny wiggle dinky pieces. All right, so there's one. And this is number 2.
That's nice, Vicky. Vicky used to bring 2 old guys a Christmas meal because they couldn't walk.
Aw. All right, now I'm going to split these little things in half. They're sewn on each side. This is, you guys can learn how to make flying geese. This is a different number for each size that you want to finish. I'm hoping that these come out the size I want. So I'm splitting them in half on the line that I drew. Now I'm going to press them back. These are probably going to be a lot bigger than I need, but...
Slowing down, Joe says about Kim's thing about the wine and the prayer that she would need both wine and prayer.
So I've been pressing most seams open with everything I'm doing, but I'm not pressing these little flying geese seams open. Oh, these are so cute. These are a lot bigger than the last ones, but I could always trim down. Takes me a minute to press with this little tiny iron because it's so dinky, so very small. But that's okay because it's doing the job that I need. It's really hard to get these tiny pieces under a big iron, you know, because they're so small. So here's my 4 little flying geese units. I'm going to tell you how big these are for the future reference.
Those are teeny.
Look at these little things. Aren't they just adorable? Okay, so let's see what they would be. Whoops, let's put it on a side that I can read better. So it's 1 1/4 by 2 inches, it looks like. 1 1/4, 2, 1 1/4 by 2, and 1 1/4 by 2. So they come out 1 1/4 by 2 inches. So let's just put this here out there. A 2.5 inch square for your underside for the flying geese main part. Then 4 1.5 inch square by 1.5 inch squares. Do the cross sides first. Sew down the center. So, draw the line down the center. Sew on both sides. Then trim down the center, open them up, press them, and then add the other 2 squares, and you'll get 1 1/4 by 2 inch flying geese units, which I'm going to trim down now. I'm going to just keep that one side nicely. Yep, I see. And now I'm going to trim this. And then I'm going to trim it down here. I want it to be 1. Let's go put it on that 8th right there.
Mary says, Marty and I pick strawberries and blueberries every summer, so I need to make some jelly out of them.
So I want 1. Ooh, we're going to fix. I'm trying to get to the 1.5 by. Let's trim it down just little by little, just so I could have the right. So just a smidge off this side now and a smidge off that side. One more time. 1.5 by 1 inch.
Going down, Joe says, Tiffany, what size seam do you see these with?
I'm sewing them with a scant 1/4 inch, and some of it is not even fully scant. Can you see?
Oh, it's supposed to say sew. What size?
That's because I trimmed that down really tight, but you can see they're really small seams. So here's my 1 inch by 1.5 inch flying geese. So these come out better. So I'm going to start doing the 4 at a time thing, but I need to down the number just by a little bit so that I don't have to trim as much along the way, because I'm trimming way too much. So 1 inch by.
I should get a little 1 next to the W. That's nifty.
1.5 right there. And 1.5 right there. All right, so there's my other one. Look at that cute little guy. Ah, it's so adorable. So adorable. I'm having so much fun here.
Teresa says, I'm thinking of making strawberry/rhubarb jelly. Rhubarb jelly sounds good.
Yes, it does.
Kim says those tiny geese are cute.
Aren't they? They're just so adorable. So this is the way I think I'm going to make them continuously.
Why
now.
do they call them geese, honey?
Don't ask me.
Okay, I thought maybe you know.
Nope, that's one thing none of us know. Why do they call them geese? Does anybody actually know? Because I don't. Alrighty, here's my next one and one more. And
Teresa says cute and tiny. Beverly says too cute, so tiny. June says, what are you going to use these in? They are so cute.
I don't know exactly what I'm making just yet, but I am just having fun. I'm making a little pile in a box, and little by little I'll just start making these little things so that I can make something out of them. So here's the 4th one. Look at that thing. It's so adorable. So it comes out better. I'm going to still keep these little guys right here, but I think they come out better when I do the 4 at a time. So I just need to change that number down just a smidge to.
Diane says hi. Hi, Diane.
2.5 down to 2. We're going to go down to 2.25.
Okay, Kim says because geese fly in a V formation and the large triangle represents that.
All right, so we're going to try 2.25 instead. And instead of 1.5, we're going to use.
So that makes sense.
1.25. Yeah, we'll try 1.25 now. Let's see what happens here. This is all experimentation here, guys. I'm experimenting. It's all scrap anyway, so it makes no difference if I mess it up. I'm not really wasting anything because.
Teresa says I can't wait for the fat quarter shop to come out with flying geese on a roll.
2, 3, and we'll cut the 4th one. So now I'm doing 1 and so I'm doing a 2.25 by 2.25 inch square with 2 1.25 inch squares. We're going to put these on here.
Diane says, oh my
yeah,
goodness,
that's not going to cross.
Tiny.
They have to be bigger than 1.25. So I'm going to change those to 1.5 down there. I have to go bigger than 1.25.
Yes, Diane, those are very teeny.
Let's try 1.5.
Look at the teeny little iron. Show her the teeny little iron.
Yep, that's my teeny little iron there. To go with my teeny little box. I think your phone is ringing, Scotty.
It sounds like it. CJ can answer it.
All right, so
They're
let's
out in the
cut
kitchen,
4
you can hear 'em
1.5
talking.
inch squares. We're gonna try that instead. Maybe that's gonna be the magic number. Oh, I'm not gonna get 4 out of this. Oh, I'm gonna have to find another one. That's gonna go down for ones. Oh, there is another one. Hee-haw. Let's try this. One more. 1.5.
Patty says, my truck has such good internet, I can listen and run my errands. Well, that's good,
That's
Patty.
awesome. Just don't be watching and driving because that's not safe.
Yeah, we don't want you to crash. Not the day before Christmas.
Yeah, that's not happening. All right, we're trying 1.5 inch on a 2 1/4 inch. We're gonna see how this plays out.
Kim says, I want one of those teeny little irons, but can't find one.
It was sent to me by, I am so bad memory wise. I don't remember who actually sent it to me. Gotta think back. It came in a package with a bunch of other stuff. Who sent it to me?
Was it the lady from Florida?
No, it was somebody else, I think. All right, so now I'm going to sew my 2 1/4 inch square with my 1.5 inch squares. So on each side of the line, we're going to see how this one plays out. I don't want to have to trim as much as I just did off. That's why I'm changing my size.
June says she got hers from Nancy's Notions.
All right, let's try this again. We're going to cut.
Diane says, LOL, that's a tiny iron.
All right, I'm going to go press these, which is just right here, but I can't have it in front of the camera because I don't have the cord for those that are joining and wondering why I'm not pressing in front of the camera today.
Jim says, Joanne's used to have them, but discontinued them. Teresa says, all the online quilt shops have them, probably even Amazon.
Probably. It's just a little guy. This has no name. It's foreign. I'm just going to say foreign from now on for stuff that's made in China or Japan or
Wherever.
who knows.
Timbuktu.
No, it's made somewhere. I'm just going to say it's foreign to us. All right. So now these are pressed. And again, I'm not pressing the seams open. I should, but I'm not. Not on these, at least. Okay, so now I got my little hearts again. This is a totally different size, though. We're going to see how much less waste I have doing it this way. So now I'm going to lay this next 1.5 inch square across so you guys can see. It's going on it like this. So your heart disappears, and then you'll have a little lip at the bottom like this when you do 4 at a time flying geese. I don't want to confuse anybody because this is a totally different way of making flying geese instead of just snowballing the corners.
Teresa says maybe clover iron.
Yeah, there's a clover one. They sell it at my local quilt store. It's like $30-something. It's pretty expensive.
Kim's gonna check MSQC since they bought Nancy's Notion.
All right, here we go. We're gonna sew now a 1/4 inch on each side this way.
Nancy says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Much
Merry
love and happiness.
Christmas.
And she says hi to both of us. Hi,
Hello.
Nancy. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you guys all for joining here on Christmas Eve. But I know there's a lot of you out there that are alone for the holidays. And you guys get to hang out with us while I make tiny, tiny little stuff. Because I'm crazy. I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm so crazy to play with stuff like this, but I love it. All right, let's press this back now, and we're going to see, because this looks a lot smaller. This might be even closer to my size. Like super. Oh my goodness. And I have a better top right here, too, for my flying geese. I have a better point at the top. I won't lose much of my point if I sew these together. Whew. I like to make things up as I go. You guys know this, so That is why don't really have a full project for it yet, but I'm definitely having fun creating whatever it is I'm going to be creating here. All right.
Teresa says Amazon has the iron for $22 and $42 with all the extra attachments. So there's extra attachments, huh?
Yeah, I don't have any attachments.
Mine. That'd be
the
nifty.
box looks like this.
Yeah.
Let's let it focus. It says DIY heating tool EXF 3022. That's
Do
what
it yourself little heating tool.
So, and it's all in a different language, and it didn't have anything. It just has the foot that comes on it that looks like a little iron. Most of it's in a different language. English isn't even the first language on there. All right.
Kim.
We're going to trim. Ooh, this is a lot closer. Let's trim all those off first. Less waste this way. Less waste, way better. 2. Trimming all the one side first, and then I'll move on to the other side. 3. And 4. All right, now turn them around and go 1 inch. Oh, I want that to land right about there. All right, we are going to trim the other side better. I want 1 inch by 1.5 inch. Hello.
Flat iron shape.
My best friend Justin is here.
Tiny parts.
I've been here.
I know.
Come on and say hi.
You can come in and say hi.
I actually have a question.
What's your question?
Can I give CJ his present early?
I don't care. We're about humbugs, so
Yeah, we haven't wrapped the one gift.
we
We're
didn't
not
do
doing
anything.
Yeah, you can get your gift out of the garage, CJ, if you can find it.
Oh, it's so adorable. All right, so there's another one. So less waste on this method. So I think I'm going to stick with this size then.
They're all saying hi to you, Justin.
This is the size I'm going to stick with. Is the 2 1/4 inch outer square with the 2 1/4 inch square for the triangle part of the flying geese, and then
There's your
1.5 inch squares for the
Teresa says, I don't think you need all the extra attachments.
no,
don't
you
think
just need
so
the little
either.
iron. That's it. Plus, I'd probably lose the attachments if I had them, knowing me. All right, so there's number 2. So yeah, 2 1/4 outer square with, or the big square with 1.5 inch squares to go with it. Yeah, that works. That makes the little tiny trim down to 1.5 by 1 inch flying geese. So there's number 3. They're so small they make it even hard to hold them, you know. And I'm sewing with scant 1/4 inch seams on everything because these are so small, and I don't want to
Diane says, asks, how are you going to sew the tiny pieces together?
with the machine. How else? I don't know what I'm doing yet, and I think I'm going to pull some out right now and play with some because now I have flying geese and
I think she
half
meant
square
the design,
triangles.
maybe? I don't
Yeah.
think she meant
I
what
know.
tool you're going to use.
I know. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I get it.
and
I know
silly.
you're being funny and silly.
All right, here's
I get
number
it,
4.
I get it.
What I'm going to do is take all 4 of these with the dark brown, and we're going to take some half square triangles out of here. We're going to try something just to see. It's not like I'm wasting anything, because I'm just playing around. And we're going to take some of my 1 inch squares. See
Diane
these little
says
tiny
LOL,
dinky things? Sorry, I'm silly
I
sometimes.
know you are.
All right. I know what I think what I want to do here. We're going to take 4 regular squares. No. Let's do the half square triangles first.
Nancy says blocks, not links, being the right size.
We're going to try something fun here. Let's see. How many of these do I have? Do I have 4 of those? Ooh, I do. Let's try something fun here. We're going to make a tiny little pinwheel. Nope, that's not a pinwheel. That way. That way.
Oh, it was Maxine.
And that way. No, that's not a pinwheel. I cannot get a pinwheel going here. All right, tiny little pinwheel. That might be kind of hard.
You
Sew
ready?
those
Oh, never mind, I
together.
didn't get to answer my phone.
Add 4 of these. No, we want them as legs.
Okay.
That will look
I'll let her
dumb.
know when she's done here.
That will look dumb. I'm playing
All right.
around here.
Bye.
Let's pull those back out and make these corners. Let's put the white like that. White in like that. White in like that. White in like that. And then do a 4 patch for the middle. How's that? Let's
June
see.
says, got to go get busy. Bye. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, June.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good day, darling.
That there. And that there. And while I'm right here, where's my seam ripper? Some of these pieces have stitching from me floating off the edge, but I don't want extra bulk, so I'm removing all these little tiny stitches. It's not a big deal, but okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create a 4 patch real quick, and then I'm going to create a star. I think that's what I'm gonna build with all this. All right, here we go. Let's sew together this tiny little itty bitty 4 patch. Oh, this is gonna be so hard. So small. There we go. Send that through. And send this little guy through. These are little 1-inch squares that I'm working with right here. All right, so I'm gonna press them open.
Diane says you could glue them on another fabric.
Nah, I like sewing.
I know. That's what you
Oh, well, yeah, I know. No, I'm gonna sew them, and I will have 100% little half-inch pieces will be showing. So I'm gonna press this real quick because I want it to be super duper flat.
Merry Christmas, Marlene. Marlene says Merry Christmas.
Merry
Tiff.
Christmas, Marlene. Merry Christmas, everybody who's coming in. All right, so they're hooked together, so I don't lose them. These are making myself a little 4 patch. I pressed my seam open, and I'm gonna line this up as best as possible. And that does come out at 1.5. Perfect. Look at that.
I just came.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna sew this through now.
Diane says I wouldn't sew those.
But I'm crazy, remember? I'm the crazy one that does this kind of stuff. All right, so now I'm gonna press my seam open. Oh, this is so tiny.
Nancy says I can't work with blocks that small.
I can, because I'm crazy.
Teresa asks, has anyone seen Jim? Haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's okay.
I haven't. No, Jim was on yesterday's video.
Was he? I don't know. I didn't read it for you
I think he
yesterday.
was. All right, so here's my little tiny dinky little 4 patch. Look at that thing. Isn't that adorable? And it's really cool because this star will be seen and it won't be lost. All right, so now I'm taking my little 4 patch and put it in the center. I'm gonna take my little 1.5 inches. Okay, you guys can see this, right? We're gonna come tip you down so you can see what I'm making here. We're gonna throw all this out of the way for now.
I'm on a huge delay here, so I don't know.
All right. And if you guys hear funky gurgling, that's my stomach. It's embarrassing.
Rowena agrees with Nancy. She can't work with blocks that small either.
All right, I'm gonna toss those in there.
Well, Nancy says she's blind in one eye, so bigger is best for her.
All right, we're gonna put the
Sorry to hear
whites
that, Nancy.
facing. Oh no, whites facing in. I want whites facing in. Can you see this little guy? My center, that, whites facing in, that, and that. So let's bring you up so you can see what I'm doing here. Can you see that little thing? So I'm going to sew this to this, this to this, this to this, and then add those. So it's very, very tiny. I'm working with tiny stuff here, but just wait. Like, I'm crazy.
Teresa says you're really getting into these little tiny quilts, Tiffany.
Oh, yes, I definitely am. It's like, I don't know, it's fun. It's calming. If I was able to play music while doing it. I can't do it right now because I'm on live stream, but
Nancy says cute, Tiffany.
all right, let's add this next one. This is going to be such a tiny little block. I think it's going to be 2.5 inches. Wait, hold on, 1, 2. Yeah, 2.5 inches, I think, is what it'll fit at.
Beverly says cute but tiny.
All right, here we go. And I'm going to sew this one to this one. And they're so far away from me. Let's bring them closer. Oh, yeah, I think I have figured out what I'm making here. See, you guys inspire me to figure it out. At first, I didn't know what I was going to do with all these little things. I was just making them. I came to the conclusion I was going to make them, but I didn't know what I was making. All right. For now, I'm just going to press that out of the way. We're going to add this
Teresa
little
says
guy.
it's great use of your little tiny scraps.
Yeah, I don't like to throw it away. There's no way that I'm going to throw any of this little stuff away. And it's going to take me a long time. It'll probably take me all of 2021 to make this, but whatever I'm making with all this. But, you know what? At least I have something to do and I'm having fun doing it. Okay, and then I got to add this little guy. And then I got to press all these
Why don't you tell them all
seams.
about the quilt yesterday since everybody's asked?
Okay, give me a second. Let me finish sewing this so that I can concentrate on one thing at a time.
Okay, well, they don't know what I'm talking about. So they didn't ask. They're just saying.
Okay.
They've been it.
Let me press these open.
So you got all the time in the world.
This is going to be so hard to do. This is so small. All right, 1. If you guys hear banging, that's because the trash man or recycle man is behind at our house. All right, so let's press this piece.
He'll be by in a second. It won't be long.
And I don't know if I lost my points because I haven't checked yet on my flying geese, but I must be the craziest person to make little 2.5 inch blocks from pieces. Like, seriously. I'm just pressing over here at the iron with my little tiny dinky iron for my tiny dinky blocks. Oh, this looks so awesome. Oh, I'm loving it.
Linda says sewing those together would make me one crazy lady. They are darling, though.
I am the crazy lady, so it's okay. So now my 3 little pieces are hooked together. I can't lose their spots. Now I just got to try not to lose my points in my flying geese. So it's so bulky too because they're so little and all these seams are like literally right next to each other.
Nancy says there are a lot of people that love making miniatures. George Siciliano makes some beautiful paper-pieced miniatures. Sorry if I messed his name up.
Oh my goodness, this is the tiniest little thing.
It's cute though.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how many I'm going to be able to make. Maybe I could just make little
It's cute.
something out of this.
It's
I have no
cute.
idea, but this is just so adorable. Okay, I'm like trying to match my seams as careful as I can because these are so small. Like so small.
Teresa says, I have to agree with Tiffany. Sewing these little ones can be very relaxing. Are we strange?
Oh
She
my
asks.
goodness. This is the most cutest thing I have ever seen. I think this is cuter than my miniature Jacob's ladder block. Oh my goodness. This thing is adorable.
Did you hear what Teresa said?
What? That it's relaxing?
Yes, and then she asks, are we
Oh.
strange?
Yes. I guess we are. Oh my goodness. I don't even think this is 2.5 inches. It looks smaller. It looks like 2 inches. Looks like it's a 2-inch block. Oh, this is
With
so
that cute little iron and the cute little thing, it looks so nifty.
I'm gonna take a picture of just this little tiny cute block with the tiny cute iron. Oh, these are 1/4 inch in size, guys, or 1/2 inch maybe. I don't know. They look more 1/4 inch because they're so. Oh, look at this. I have to like carefully iron it because it's tiny. Let's get it to stay flatter than it is. They don't stay very flat.
Well, now it's big enough you could probably use the big iron if you wanted.
Oh, yeah, but that's okay. All right. They got too much reflection. Too much
Okay,
reflection
let's
right here.
Come on back over here.
We're coming back right here, guys. Ready for this little thing? Look at this little tiny itty bitty block.
Diane says if I sewed those little tiny pieces, I would do it by hand. And Kim says you're not strange at all.
Look at this
Teresa
thing.
says, OMG, so cute.
All right,
It's
let's
so
see how big
cute.
it really is. It is. Oh, it is. It's 2.5. So it's 2.5 inches.
So cute.
I knew it would be. It's a 2.5 inch. And look at that star
It's so
landed
dinky.
where it landed. Isn't that just adorable?
Joyce says, OMG, so cute. Kim says that is adorable. Jim says, awesome. Well, there's Jim. Those of you who are
Look
asking
at,
where
so this
Jim
is what all the seams look like. You can see it's very
Beverly
bulky.
says, wow, no way.
This thing is so bulky.
Yes, that is very bulky.
So let's make another one because this is just so cute.
It's very cute.
Oh, I'll have to take the steam iron and like just hold it down and steam on all these when I'm done. But all right, let's take 4 more.
Nancy says, I have one of those little
1,
irons. Mine came with
2,
attachments many years ago. Yes, we were just talking about that earlier, Nancy. Tips didn't come with attachments, but
2.
other people were saying that some do.
Da, 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 da. I'm wondering if they should be the same or different throughout because
You're good at picking out that stuff. You can
I
decide
have
that.
brown.
Wow, that is really thick. All those seams on the bottom. Make it
have
really.
green.
Linda says so cute. Elaine says cute. Set
There's
that heavy
4.
antique iron on it.
Here's 4 right
Will
there.
help lay flat.
All right, we're gonna pull these.
Yes, Eileen, that heavy
And then
iron
I
would.
need a 4 patch worth. So let's do, I don't want too much brown. So let's do this light color again, I guess.
Marlene says I made a table runner with my
With
tiny 1/2 inch HST.
Red right
Jim
there.
says hi everyone, having tummy issues. Glad I caught what I did. Hi
All
Jim.
right.
Merry Christmas to you, bud.
I'm going to sew another tiny little 4 patch together and then let's put it back to where you can see over at the sewing machine. I didn't halfway close the curtain for no reason. So I'm going to sew these and then I'm going to lay this out, my start points. And I think I'm going to put the green towards the inside this time. Like that, and like that. Okay, so let me make my little 4 patch first. So tiny.
Jackie says hello all, glad I could join. Late but better than nothing. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Jackie.
Okay.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad that all of you are able to come and hang out today. All right, so I'm going to press my little seams open. They have to go open. And I do have to tell you, I'm using like a 1.8 stitch length because these are so small and I don't want the seams to poke through.
Diane asks, how long is it going to take to make a quilt out of those?
I don't know. It's probably just going to be a miniature quilt.
Like
And
a wall hanging type thing.
It'll be just a little wall hanging most likely, but will probably take me, if I was to continuously do this, I don't think it would take me more than 2 weeks, honestly, continue, you know, because I would chain piece everything. It wouldn't be just a singular thing for a video, you know. I would chain piece everything. I would chain piece all my 4 patches, chain piece all my half square triangles, chain piece all my
I'd say more than 2
finding-
weeks. Your hands and wrists would get tired, honey. It might take you about a month, but you could do it.
I have client stuff to do too, so obviously I'm not gonna continuously do this. This is just me. This is just me doing this now. This is just going to be my grab when I feel like messing with the little pieces, because most of the time I can just sit here and cut everything. So I can prep everything and then sit and cut at a different time, you know.
Jackie says use your mini quilt for the center of a larger quilt. There you go.
I could.
That's an idea. Instead of just doing a little wall hanging with it, you could make it as a.
I like my little wall hanging idea because I can actually enter this into a show.
That's true.
Because these pieces are something most people don't do. Oh man, I should have used a more contrasting color there. I didn't realize those were gonna look like that. Let's make a different 4-patch because that's not a contrasting enough color. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I can always make more. I'm gonna just put that there. I'm making a second 4-patch because that wasn't a contrasting enough color. I'm going to try to keep them somewhat matching. I mean, there'll probably be some that won't be, but...
Diane says that's true.
Could you imagine entering something like this and actually winning an award for something this tiny? That would be so awesome!
You can do it.
That's a
You
lot of
can
hard work, you
awards.
know, that goes into something.
Whenever the town opens up and we have another quilt show again, you can do it.
It's easier to press these 4-patches than it is anything else of this whole entire project. Oh man, come on, split open, you stupid seam. There we go. Okay. So yeah, when I get bored or need to do something, then I'll be able to do these little tiny blocks.
Diane says you can do it, girlfriend.
Doesn't mean every time will be on video though. Some of this will probably be made, actually most of this will probably be made off video, but I will show you eventually what I make with it. Oh man, that didn't match very well. Oh well, it's not like they're gonna be perfect. All right, so I'm gonna put these together now. I'm just gonna take all my pieces up here. You guys know what I'm doing, so you can just watch me do it. Because green inward, green inward, green inward, green inward. You got to make sure they're so small. You have to like literally don't just check once. You got to check like 5 times to make sure.
Well, Vicky said earlier, kitty quilt, LOL. So little.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that till just now.
And this is probably not the best machine to be doing such little tiny pieces on, but
Would your brother be better?
oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I could
Honestly.
move the brother over.
This is just, it's pretty big of a machine for this kind of stuff, but it's working so far. All right. I'm going to try to finger these open very carefully while I'm right here. So small.
Kathleen says, I'm in the kitchen watching on a big TV. That was freaking adorable, Tiff.
Hold on. We'll get this one you guys could see. I probably won't get very many of these made today, but it's the pressing and the trimming that's going to take forever because I'm using my finger right now to smush these to one side.
Nancy says, I admire anyone that is able to do miniatures. Kudos to you, Tiffany.
It's not my norm, but I'm definitely obsessed with making them and have been for a while. So. Oh, no, don't. I did it wrong. Stop. Stop where you are. I just realized that I have that turned. It's okay. We're just going to rip that out. Very carefully. So very carefully. I knew something looked funky there. I don't want to like torture these little pieces of fabric with the seam ripper, but
Nancy says, try sewing the seams open to reduce bulk.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. Except on the flying geese. The flying geese have no, they're not open seams, but everything else is getting open. I'm pretty sure I can do the 4 at a time flying geese with open seams. I just didn't. I'll try though. All right, let me put this, finish this row together. So that's getting the green towards the inside. I'm losing my place, but that's okay. I'm kind of going a little bit backwards because I had to seam rip.
It's okay, my love. They'll get it. They'll understand.
All right, so this guy is facing the correct direction as well. It was this one that was not the correct direction. Okay. All right. Ha, there we go. Now, let's add this one. Oh, it's so small. Chain piecing them was better than singularly putting these together, let me tell you. All right, I'm going to just press these on their own and hope that I sew them together correctly when I go to sew them. Because, all right. Because that was kind of funky messing that one up on accident. I thought I was paying attention, but I guess not. Not good enough. How many of you out there actually do make miniatures? Do I have any subscribers that make miniatures?
In the world of miniatures? Teresa says, Tiffany, I would lose my mind sewing that small.
It's not bothering me. But that's
For
because
you,
I'm crazy.
For you, it's a different thing. It's a calming, soothing thing. For some people, it would just be annoying.
All right, here we go. Let's sew these together correctly this time. Correctly. All right, so let's lay that on there just like that. My seams are on top of each other where I want them. And I'm sewing a scant 1/4 inch just so that you guys know.
The hand says, no way, my hands are too big.
That does, I don't think it matters what size your hands are to do this, does it?
Mary Jane says, I made a quilt with pieced 6-inch blocks. Suburban says hi. Hi, Suburban.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome everybody to my Christmas Eve making tiny little pieces. Teeny weeny blocks for Christmas Eve. These would make perfect little ornaments if I took them in separately and put little hanging things on them and stuff. They would make cute little ornaments.
Joyce says, I'm afraid if tried something that small, my fingers wouldn't work.
All right, let me press this open and I could show. Oh,
here
this
you
is
go.
the
You got a fellow,
cutest.
Ellen. Ellen says, I love to do mini blocks.
Awesome.
You got a fellow mini blocker.
Yeah, this is more than just mini. This is dinky. The dinkiest thing. That seam didn't match all the way, but guess what? I don't care because they're so small that they're really hard to perfectly match up. Although that would get me brownie points if they were. Let me tell you. But I did not lose my points to my flying geese. So that's got to say something right there. All right. If I had the steam iron on, I'd be able to press these a little bit better, but
Elaine says, my fingers don't work like they used to.
look at block.
Fingertips have
Here,
lost
let's
feeling.
get rid of this little string right there.
Wow, that is beautiful, Tiff.
I gotta get rid of the strings. That way they're not hanging here.
That's okay, Suburban. I'll read the chat to you. Suburban's fighting migraine and she can't read the chat.
Look at this thing. So it's 2.5 inches. This little guy is a 2.5 inch block. I see another little thread sticking
Yep,
out.
he's got another one right at the middle there.
I'm trying to get them all because they're so small. It's hard to get. Look at that thing.
Nancy says, cute. It's so cute. That is awesome.
Look at that. You can even see that I managed to keep all the points on all the flying geese blocks. Look at that.
I'm using the internet.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Totally lost my stream for a second. All right.
Diane says adorable tiny blocks. Teresa
Oh.
says cute, cute, cute.
I'm going to hold them up again
Jim says
because I
nice.
froze.
Teresa McBrayer asked, do you want her to send you her scraps?
Anybody, if you guys want to send me scraps, send them. I don't always get to them right away, but I definitely make stuff with them.
Slowing Down Joe says Tiffany, oh my. Beverly says it's so cute. Jim says nice. Mary Jane says
So that way you
love
guys
it.
can get the general idea of its
Joyce says
size.
cute.
This is my Missouri Star 2.5-inch ruler. And there it is, 2.5 inches.
Diane says I'd
Look
end
at
up
that
stitching
thing.
my fingers together.
So the insides of the everything is, yep, half
Joyce
inch.
says so cute.
Half inch.
Jackie says adorable.
Yep, so the insides of everything finish at 1/2 inch perfectly. Like literally. Oh yeah. All right, here. Just try to keep all this flat when you're pushing down.
Oh,
on
you're
it.
gonna let me iron?
Yeah.
With your new iron?
Just lay it on there and let it steam away. He's gonna steam those to see how they come out. We're gonna make another block, so let me make another flying geese unit. So we did the 2.25 inch cut. So there's 2 and there's 1/4.
Is there a way to make it so it doesn't steam?
All right, so
this thing is like super steamy.
I need a 2.25, and then I'm gonna take this one. Let's do my flying geese. That's not contrasting
Jim
enough.
says those points on that tiny. Wow.
I need 4 1.5 inch.
Is this what you wanted? Did I do good? You want me to keep doing it?
1, 2, 3. This doesn't give me 4. Oh no, that's perfect. That's good. Perfect. So here's my 2 little. We're gonna make one more while I'm on live stream. So I'm gonna set those aside.
Teresa says, how cute. That's insane.
I'm going to find a
And yes, she
color.
finally let me use her new iron.
Let's see, does that contrast? That contrasts good. Is there another one? This one might be perfect. Let's see, is that 1.5 inches? Perfect.
Teresa Louise asked, do you like that cutter, Tiffany?
This one, yes. Okay. So I'm cutting 1.5 inch squares. I just need 4 of them to make my flying geese unit. Units, plural. All right. So we're gonna make one more set of flying geese. Oh, I need a couple more half square triangles that match, huh?
Kim says the
How many of
cranberry
these
orange
do I
bread
have?
is in the oven. Time for a break.
How many of these colorways?
Are the same exact with the white and the brown?
Yes.
Just those two?
Okay, so I'll make another white with brown.
Unless there's
This needs to
more
be-
over here.
I'm gonna make 2 different blocks while I'm right here. And then the brown is which brown? It's this one?
Yeah. It has a white dot every now and then. Yep.
Yep.
That's it. Well, pull that thread out first.
But-
Oh, well, I thought it was in the way of your cutting. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
So I'm making 2 half square triangles. Can you pull those 2 out that I wanted?
Yeah.
And then 2, and then 4 flying geese. So
Where do you want me to put them?
right here.
Okay.
They're going with that. So I'm going to sew these together. I'm going to draw a line to make my half square triangles. I'm using a 1.5 inch square, 2 1.5 inch squares, right
Sure.
sides together, and then sewing on each side of my drawn line.
Teresa says, guess I need to start using mine more. Maybe I would start liking it.
I think, I mean, I don't know for some of you, no matter what we do quilting related, it's always soothing. It's relaxing. It's what we do, you know? But when it comes to like repetitive stuff and piecing this and piecing that and blah, 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 blah. You guys know what I mean?
You have a bunch of these individual. Would you want those?
No,
Okay.
I'm
Okay, you do your thing.
I need to press that. When it comes to the like the over and over and over again thing, even though we like to create blocks and make 500 blocks to go in whatever amounts of quilts, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes it's good to change things up, and there's so much waste on bigger blocks that you make this with it. You know what I mean? You can turn around and feel even more accomplished by making small blocks, and it doesn't have to be as small as I'm doing. Obviously, you don't have to do that or go to the extreme like I am, but there's so many times we cut off those pieces on the back, you know, like when we snowball corners of 2.5-inch squares. There's so many times that leftover 2.5-inch square snowball on the corner of a 5-inch square, that's a good size piece. You know, sew it together and create stuff like this, and you'd be surprised what happens. You know, I'm just messing around here, and I'm seriously, this is so adorable.
Nancy says that she got her Martelli in October, the 60 millimeter, and she's having trouble getting it to cut. She's probably not holding it correct. She can use the 45 millimeter with no problem.
Well, I can hold this, and I have my brace on, and it's
Well, that's the 45 too,
the
right?
45, yes.
Yeah, she has no problem with the 45. It's the 60 she's having issues.
All right, and one more for this, and I got to cut my 1.5 inches for my flying geese. Oops, nope, don't wiggle. That's the one thing about these little tiny things is there's no real small ruler for stuff like this, so you do have to get creative with the holding your ruler down part to do all the trimming and stuff, but other than that, it goes pretty good. All right, let's cut 4 1.5-inch squares. So 1, 2, 3, and 1
Nancy
more.
says, but I'm no quitter. Oh, well.
All right, so I'm going to throw that out of the way. So I'm going to take
Can't
4,
give up. You gotta keep trying.
just so that this is jotted down and not on paper, and it's actually on video, for making these tiny, tiny little blocks. I'm gonna tell everybody the directions for this tiny one. It is, you need 4 1-inch squares to create your 4 patch in the middle. And then you need to make your half square triangles to make just 1 or 2 half square triangles, 1, and then you'll make it a second one. 2 1.5-inch squares, draw on the line, sew on each side of the line, and then trim them down to 1 inch. And then so you'll do that twice. So 4 pieces, 1.5-inch squares, combining them. And then for the flying geese units, which are these, you'll get all 4 of those with 1 2.25 inch by 2.25 inch square and 4 1.5-inch squares by 1.5 inch. So then you take your 1.5-inch square and you lay, I know this is so hard to keep the camera, but I really want you guys to see, to make these tiny, tiny flying geese units 4 at a time. Here's my 2.25 inch square. A 1.5 inch is going to go on this corner right here.
Kim says those blocks are adorable.
Just like that. And then the other 1.5 inch is going to go on that opposite corner. Okay. And then I'm going to take my ruler while I'm here and draw a line from corner like this. And I'm just using my friction pin. So from corner to corner like that. And I'm going to sew now on, oops. I'm going to sew on each side of that line. And I'm doing scant 1/4 inch so that I have less bulk in my seam. So let's go and sew on that. And just because I can, we're going to put you guys right up here so you can see. Can you see the sewing machine? Because I can't see what I'm doing just yet. All right, so you can see. Just, I want this so that you guys know it's not that hard. So I'm going to sew on each side of that line with a scant 1/4 inch, which really means I'm just hiding my line here with some of the
Give me the
crust
plug
of
there.
the foot. Yes, please.
Iron is beeping at us.
All right, and now I'm going to trim this in half real quick and press it. So I'll be right back. You guys can stare at my dusty, dirty machine for 2 seconds.
Well, when it's a little nicer outside, we'll make a video showing them having it.
Yeah.
Because I'll help you. I'll carry it outside for you. Okay?
Come on.
Okay, my love?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to use that little sucker? Iron them down? You can
That's
talk to
fine.
people?
It's fine. It takes 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. Almost done. Give me 2 seconds. This little iron is a little tedious. It's so small and it's tiny, tiny little areas that I'm trying to do. So now you're going to have something that looks like this, 2 of these. Okay, so you have 2 of these. We're going to take those last 2 1.5 inch squares now that I have the formula for this, and I'm going to draw a line on the back side of both of these with my friction pin. I mean, they're small. I could probably just eyeball this, but I don't want to mess it up because I'm sewing on each side of the line. So I'm just going to draw it down like that. So I'm going to add 1 with my diagonal and put it right here in this corner with my line that I drew going between the both. And this formula works with any size you can do it with. You can do it with 5 inch squares. You can do it with 10 inch squares. You can do it with any size. All right, so I'm going to sew on each side of these lines now with my scant 1/4 inch. And I'm just going to go ahead and chain piece these through because I'm right here. Turn them both around. Sew on the opposite side. Now I'm done with the sewing machine, so I'm going to take you guys back over here. I have such a mess going on over here, but so now just going to snip these apart. I'm going to cut on the line, and then I'm going to press this back like that. So I'm going to take it over to the iron and press it. I'm just going to pre-push them back before I go to the little iron. That way it's a little bit easier. I'm going to try to actually press the seam open this. No, I'm not going to. Never mind. Just going to leave it. I'll try it on a future piece. All right. So here's what I got. They're a little bit too big, so they need to be trimmed down. I'll be right back from the iron in a second. Oh, so cute. Just the flying geese even, you know, like who would have ever thought to make tiny, tiny little flying geese like this? I know me, I would. That's because I'm doing it. All right, now we're going to trim them down. So this is my pieces for the rest of the little block that we're making. I'm going to trim these down. I'm going to take and line so you can see my ruler here. I'm going to line that 1/4 inch line right up here at this top piece. Keep that straight because I don't want to lose my points, but I don't want to be too much taller than 1/4 inch because I want this to be 1 inch. So it's 1 inch now in width, and in length it needs to be 1.5. So I'm going to line up my 1.5 right here and trim off this side, and then turn it around and trim off the other.
Okay, Tiffany, Kim has a question.
Yes.
She says, Tiff, since those are biased but tiny, do they tend to stretch?
No, these aren't stretching at all. They're so tiny, they are not stretching. They're just, you can see right here. They're pretty flat. All right. Mostly flat. How about that? Yeah, they're so small. I don't think it's affecting much on the bias grain of the fabric. So these are 1 inch by 1.5 inch. There we go, much better. So now I got two more to cut. So there's my 1 inch. I know it's kind of confusing with the ruler because I'm using both sides of it unequally. There we go, right there. And one more. Again, see, this is probably the part that most people would get frustrated with, is just the trimming of all this, you know, because they are very small. But again, I don't know, there's something rewarding about being able to create these little tiny things. I don't know for anybody else, but for me there is. Okay, so now let's lay it out. My 4-patch that I sewed earlier that was not the correct size, you know, or not the correct color. I think I'm going to put brown towards the inside this time, like that. And then I'm going to put my star points facing in like this. And there's a little bit more contrast, at least. So there's going to be my block. So now I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. We're going to try not to mess anything up. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to take you guys over here to the camera. To the sewing machine, so that you can see how this tiny little dink ball is being sewn together. Okay. Okay, so my little tiny block is literally gonna just sit right next to me like this. I want everything to face the correct direction. So it's right here. We're not gonna mess this up. So I'm gonna put these two together. You can see there's a little bit of work with your fingers to try to line everything up. I'm going to lay this one right sides on here. Just have to work with it. Lay it down nicely. And the last one will be this. That. All right. And now I'm just going to add, I'm not pressing anything just yet. I'm just adding the opposite side. Again, they're so small, you know. So, and then we'll take it over and press it. Because I got to press my seams open. Let's add this little guy. Come on, lay on there. This one, it's no different than bigger pieces, they're just small. All right, so I'm going to press this real quick and then I'll be right back, because I'm pressing my seams open. They lay a lot better if you press them open. And then in like a minute, once I start sewing, you plug the iron back in to flatten this whole thing out.
Of course.
Once I flatten it with this first. Alright, so I'm pressing the seams. You guys can't see me because I've moved the camera out of, moved myself out of camera. I don't want to try to press with this little iron on anything because I don't want to ruin anything with the heat. It may be little, but it is pretty hot. One more seam to open. Oy. This is the part that takes the longest, is opening these seams, my friends. And for some strange reason, that little seam right there needs to be more than it is. 2 seconds to press. I gotta slide this one through real quick because it's the 1/4 inch seam is way off. and pull out those other stitches so that they're not in my open way. Okay. Takes just a second to fix this. There we go, much better. All right. So now I have this. Look at that, nicely together. I'm just gonna, since the seams are open, I'm doing my best to just, because they're small, there's no need to pin this, it's so small. I'm just lining up that open seam with the open seam and just lay it down. I mean, everything should match up. It's making a 2.5 inch block. I'm also watching for this point right here where the seams come together for my flying geese so that I don't lose the point of my flying goose.
Flying goose tip.
All right, so there's that one. And then we're going to turn the whole thing around, line up the other one, just lining up all those openings. So nice. It lays wonderfully. And then my scant 1/4 inch seam. And I'm going to make sure that I don't hit that little tip. Oops, that one's totally not matching up. We're going to slide that over just a little. Line that up right there. Making sure that none of my seams fold upward. All right, now we're going to take you back over here and set it up. There we go. And I'm going to put this real quick out of the camera, and then Scott's going to let it get some steam after I open these seams up.
Yep, I get to use the new iron again.
Woohoo! Because I have to use the little iron first to open these seams.
I could do that too if you want to make another one, or if you just want to talk.
No, we're going to finish up now so that I can eat and stuff. My tummy's
Okay, well you can talk,
growling.
and I can do that.
It's saying, feed me.
You just don't want me to play with the little iron. You want to do it all.
This is my toy.
I know.
What's everyone saying?
You're talking about food and stuff.
Oh.
Nancy's friend brought her pumpkin bread after her surgery.
Oh, that sounds good.
They were just talking about making zucchini bread with crushed pineapple in, and then they were giving each
All
other
right.
recipes.
Give it some steam.
And stuff like that.
Okay, here comes my third little dink ball block. You guys are going to see
It's
this
an
little
itty bitty.
tiny thing.
It's an itty bitty 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 itty bitty. It's an itty bitty.
So adorable.
They are very cute, yeah.
And here's number 3.
It's an itty bitty.
So cute. So cute.
Vicky says cute. Joyce says cute. Everybody's gonna say cute. And adorable.
So for those that are just joining, these are only 2.5 inch blocks. See that?
Nancy says very cute.
2.5 inch blocks.
It says cute.
So
Joyce says
adorable.
yes, adorable.
So
Kim says, oh my goodness, so cute.
okay, let's see if I can hold this like this. Let's see if they stay. My tiny blocks.
Diane says, Scott complaining he wants to play with the tiny iron. Yes, I do want to play with the tiny iron. It's cute too.
Oh, I can't get it to stay. I literally have to hold them right here at the top. Like that. There we go. Look at those. And if I use the same color on all the flying geese, then there'll be a control color throughout the whole entire thing. Isn't it just adorable?
Yes, they
I don't
are.
know how big I will go, but
They are extremely.
maybe I can make a 25 patch block with all these, because that's what I've been making my 25 patch blocks with, is 2.5 inch squares.
Kim says the middle of one looks like a sunflower.
This one?
And Diane says, I can't believe you made 3 of these.
So yeah, they take a little while because they're so small and there's so much cutting involved, but they're
That's what
like,
the scraps are good for those of you
this
that
is
have
what
scraps.
the little tiny scraps are for. So if some people I know throw this away. This is about 1 inch and a inch. It is an inch. It is an inch piece. Like, seriously, don't throw it away. Use it. Use it.
Beverly says, all I can do is shake my head. No way I can do that. I like it, plus, but really cute.
So this is what I'm making. And then let me tip this down. So here's my pile that I need to chop up.
Jim says 25 blocks
And
with those in the
then
center.
there are my little pieces that are already sewn. And then there's my background color. And then this will probably be my border. And
Lisa says, oh my gosh, too
Yeah.
stinking cute. Hi, Tiffany and everyone. Hi,
hello.
Lisa.
So yeah, these are just adorable. And if you only wanted to make just one with the sizes I just gave you, just a couple little scrap pieces, and you just want to make one and then sew it on to something else, you know,
Well,
put a little bit of batting in it or something.
that's what Jim was saying. Do 25 blocks with those in the center.
Yeah. Do like put a piece of batting in it and a piece of backing fabric on it and then sew it, or then flip it, do a sew and flip or something, and put a little hanging thing on it and put it on your Christmas tree.
Oh, that
You
would
know,
work.
Just
Make an ornament.
little
yeah.
ornaments
Never would have thought of that.
if you wanted. I mean, but if you have a couple scraps that are really small and you want to try it just to see, try it. I mean, what's the harm in trying? I mean, and if you don't like it, toss it in the trash.
Joyce says, I don't throw anything away.
So
Diane says, anything under 1.5 inches goes in dog beds. This
Not
whole
for
thing
me.
is only, what, 2 inches?
This is 2.5 inches.
2.5,
right there.
yeah. The whole thing
So,
is only 2.5
It's so
there.
adorable. I see it on the camera. It's like, oh, look
It
at that.
is so cute. Diane says that would be adorable.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to start blending in these two, or make something
Yes,
totally
the brown
different
and
with
orange.
that, and just do something with all this
Brown and
because I
orange
haven't
over here.
added that. Anyway, well, I am going to toss those away over there in my pile.
Do you want me to move everything? Here.
I
can
want
get it.
squares on one side, half square
can get it.
triangles on the other, and I'm going to add flying geese in there too. Uh-oh, I'm missing a flying geese. I thought I made a 4.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Anyway, so let's see, vlog wise. Okay, so you guys remember I made make a random clothing quilt, which are memory quilts, but I used random clothing, not just regular t-shirts for a t-shirt quilt. I used the random clothing. So if you guys remember, I made those 2 quilts, and then I made a third comforter, which is my made-up word, is a comforter, which is a cross between a quilt and a comforter. So I made those, and yesterday my client came. Originally she said it would be okay to be on camera, but she had messaged me. They sold their dad's house yesterday too, so she was already very emotional. So she just declined being on camera, unfortunately. But I can tell you, we sat her down on the couch, and I brought out one quilt at a time and held them up, and she bawled her eyes out. She let it all out. She was so amazed and so happy. The first one, she was like in awe, and then I showed her the tag and what it says, and she was even more in awe. And then the second quilt came out, and she was in more awe. And oh yeah, and then right before the last one, I was like, so I realized on your Facebook, I realized on your Facebook you have kids. Your profile picture is kids, because that's how she contacted me anyway. And she says, yeah, I do. I said, well, I can't throw anything away, so I made you the quilt. And she bawled her eyes out some more. She's very emotional, but she was so happy. Like, it wasn't just sad tears. It was happy. She's like, with her dad's shirts being in there and stuff. So it turns out this one, she didn't put 2 and 2 together either until we said it, because somebody else here watching the videos
pointed it out to us.
Pointed it out. The 43 was his football number. So that was his favorite football shirt, because 43 was his football number back when he was in football. And And then we told her, you know, we put it together with one of my fans on my channel that the 43, because he was born in 43. We thought that's what it was. So the 43 has more than one meaning. He was born
She
in
didn't even realize
43.
the 43.
She didn't put it together
until we told her.
until we told her. So
And one of you guys pointed it out to us. So
she
yes.
she told us about that. Well, after she had left, she thanked me up and down and all that kind of stuff. And then she leaves. She messages me like, I don't know, not even 15, 20 minutes later. And this is a small town. So she went straight over to her sister's house. And her sister bawled her eyes out as well and said that they were in awe looking at over all the detail and they love the quilts. They are so pleased with me and so on and so forth. So it went really well. I do have to add, and I posted this in the group in Facebook, and I posted it on my Instagram. The only white t-shirt in that whole entire quilt, that, you know, all three of those quilts had one white t-shirt that contributed to all of it. That one white t-shirt that had the Lake Havasu, I think it was a antique car on it or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the last shirt their dad wore. And the weirdest part is that is the color shirt that I put the monogramming for the in memory of into.
Yep.
So the in memory of monogramming for their dad landed in the last shirt he wore on both quilts, on both of them. So that was a pretty nifty thing to learn as well. So yeah, that they went to their owner. She's in love. Yeah, and I'm glad you guys all hung out and learned how to make random clothing quilts or memory quilts out of random clothing. And I'm glad I was able to please yet another client. So it's rare that I get as many as I did lately. It's been a lot more than normal, but yeah, I don't get to
Hopefully
do
she'll come
memory
back
quilts
again.
as often, but I definitely love chopping up clothing and making quilts out of it. I like chopping up anything and making anything, even little tiny miniature blocks. I don't think that could be made out of clothes though. That's something you'll have to glue onto a piece of fabric or something. But anyways, yes. So it was very awesome. She was very pleased. She got lots of hugs from me. So, and Merry Christmases and so on and so forth. So that's how that went. So I wish you guys could have saw, but I mean, not all people, and you guys all probably know this, not everybody wants to be on camera. And she did it first. She's okay with it. She's that kind of person, but I don't think she wanted her emotions out there for the world to see publicly. Since I have to her, I have a big following. Not everybody knows there's more than, 2,600 people out there that quilt. Yeah. So anyways, that's how that went. In other news, I took in a client. I already told you guys that I'm making a Lone Star, and then I took on another 2 jobs. One is to make a Dresden picture wall hanging thing. I don't know how that's going to go, but it needs to be country westerny in browns. Don't ask. And the other one I need to make is just whatever, and it needs to be country-like. With browns. So I'm going to be on the hunt for country-like fabrics with browns that don't spray. They can't have paisleys. They can't have certain kinds of flowers, like picky people stuff.
Yes.
So
We
that
went out
one
yesterday and looked at Tuesday mornings and Hobby Lobby, and yes,
even my Tuesday
was-
morning does not have fabric.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing.
Or else they were all sold out because it is right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, it was crazy yesterday.
And then Hobby
We're
Lobby
not going
had
out again until next week.
They were empty. Like there was literally like everything had maybe 5 bolts on the actual rack. They were picked clean. Like so weird. So, all right. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go eat lunch. I thank you guys for hanging out while I made my little. I'm gonna show them again because
Anyway,
they're so
Beverly
adorable.
said she can't wait to see the finished product. Kim says she uses a lot of 1-inch pieces in her crumb quilt. And Diane asked, which one do I like the best? I think they're all awesome. I like all 3 of them,
There's
Diane.
number 2.
I like them just because they're so little and dinky and cute.
And number 3. Just adorable. I like this one because of the star. That was the first one I put together because of the star.
The star
in the
does
star.
make it stand out, yes.
Yeah. So there's my
like 'em
miniature
all.
blocks. And those that are just joining, I'm using pieces that are 1 inch regular squares and then 1 inch half square triangles and then 1 inch by 1.5 inch flying geese units. So I'm being a little crazy here, but all in all, it's rewarding and look what's happening.
It's awesome.
So cute. All right. So thank you guys for hanging out. And I'm probably going to see you tomorrow. Like I said, just because it's Christmas doesn't mean I can't go live and hang out and do a
We're
little
not
bit of
doing anything
sewing.
else other than cooking.
I'm making enchiladas. That's it. So for those of you that are all alone on Christmas, you'll have me to hang out for a little while with. So if you like that, I will be here tomorrow. For the rest of you who have family coming in, Merry Christmas to you all. Happy holidays. And I will see those of you who will miss me next time I am live. So bye, everyone.
Bye, Merry Christmas.